Welcome to The Girl Herd,
where we talk Texas football.
and a bunch of takes you've probably already heard.
But not from us. And here we are, another week after the playoff committee made their decision. And now we have an official bowl game. How we feeling?
Yeah, really wild weekend in college football that's continuing online. Though I will say, and Michelle, you texted this earlier, it feels like things have settled for us because like people really can't talk about us anymore because like we're not a part of the playoff. So all of our ops, I think they've kind of moved on, which I'm happy for them. Like go to the playoff, focus on what you need to focus on because the in-between I think was starting to get really weird.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I also think it's interesting. When did Cheez-It start doing the Citrus Bowl? Like, do you like it just sounds so funny to me also. I'm like, Cheez-Its and citrus don't pair together to me. So I keep getting confused. I'm like, wait. But
I think the worst part is the fact that like they were saying that we were going to the Cheez-Its Bowl whenever we played Georgia. Like this has been going on for a while. And in fact, we went to Thelmawood this weekend because we had to watch my parents' dog, little Rex, because they had left town. So me and Frank like watched championship weekend together out at Thelmawood. And I said, babe, we're going to the Cheez-Its Bowl. He was like, Texas going to Cheez-Its Bowl? He's like, no, y'all aren't. He's like, hey, no way. And I was just like, I'm not even going to keep saying this to him because he really genuinely doesn't believe it. He gets off of film last night, y'all, gets home. And the first question he had was, so what bowl are y'all going to? I said, I already told you, the Cheez-Its Bowl. And unfortunately, he busted out laughing because he was like, he goes, the little square orange things, that's the bowl. And I was like, okay. Yeah.
It just sounds like there's just jokes all around, right? Like, love you, Cheez-Its, for sponsoring a bowl, but I feel like it's par for the course for trolling.
I'm sorry. I actually really do love Cheez-Its, though. If Cheez-Its is listening and does want to sponsor the Girl Herd, yeah. I always eat Cheez-Its on the road. So just FYI,
love the commercials.
Yeah.
Well, it's just funny because people were trolling us about this bowl before it even happened. And so it's like, how did this happen? Like, how did the stars all align where it actually came out like this and we end up in a bowl game, the Cheez-It Bowl game? But I do, I mean, I've already said all my thoughts, of course, on like playoffs and everything else. What I do think is, I woke up yesterday not feeling optimistic, like we weren't even a part of the narrative. And what I was saying is, yeah, like, today, even like last night, even to today, I had like a few videos, but really they were kind of like older videos of already saying, haha, you're not going to make it. And ultimately, like, no one's really talking about it that much. We're moving on, which is what we should do like at this point.
Yeah. One thing I thought was interesting about us playing Michigan, and I actually talked to Frank about this too, Alabama played them the last 2 years, and now we're playing them. So I don't know. It's just like a funny little thing. And also we just played Michigan, and we will be playing them again at home soon. And so I think that's interesting for a lot of people. Their coach already spoke on it. I don't know if you guys saw it, but basically saying like, we have less talent than the last meeting, but like, Sark dials it up well. Like our team is competitive. It's not going to be easy for them. And of course, like same thing for them. They've got a different squad too. So I think as we start to preview the game more, that'll be cool. Cause I've not, outside of the time they played OU, I've not really spent too much time like paying a lot of attention to Michigan's team this year.
Yeah, and I even think we're just in a weird transition point in the year, too, since we aren't in the playoff and people declaring for the draft and people deciding if they're going to go into the portal. So that also has to be an interesting conversation for Sark and the team of who even is going to still like be on the team with us come, December 28th when we go to the Citrus Bowl. So that'll be
New Year's Eve, December 31st.
The 31st, 2 days or a couple days early. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting thing to see of who actually is going to step on the field for Texas and Michigan.
Yeah, they said these next few weeks, that's what they're figuring out. That's why, of course, we're seeing all of these, infos for people transferring in the portal, people declaring for the draft and all of the above. So it'll be a few weeks to figure that out. And of course, they're finishing out school at UT and then going from there and starting practice. And we do have a little bit of time. And, I think they'll take this opportunity like to kind of figure out some new stuff for the next year. But it'll be fun. Michigan will be in the same spot, right? So like we'll both be in a similar situation of figuring that all out and who will actually play. But I am very curious, like who will play, who will step up, what all we'll see.
Yeah. In terms of it being different, I mean, when was it? It had to have been 2022. I went to our game, the Alamo Bowl against Washington, which is another funny thing, how Alabama and Michigan played 2 years in a row. We did the same thing with Washington in 22 and in 23, right? Oh my gosh, my years are getting so messed up. But, in the Alamo Bowl, like, Overshone and Bijan, like they didn't play. And so, we haven't found ourselves in this type of environment in a while. So I hadn't even put thought to like somebody like Ant Hill declaring and not like, I hadn't even thought about that. I hadn't even processed it because we haven't been in that mindset in so long. So it will be interesting.
Yeah, I'm still processing what just happened. We're officially, everyone's like, I'm like, okay, people are asking about the next few weeks. I'm like, I don't know. I'm just like really racking my brain around the fact that like, we're not going to playoffs for sure. And now I know exactly when a bowl game is. And yes, like, have I thought this could be possible? Is it? Yes. But like, now I really am like, okay, planning time. We have a bowl game December 31st. The rest of it is open, which feels very interesting.
Yeah. I also feel like I ran across a tweet today and like, Michelle, you said it best. You were like, I'm good with where things are now. You're like, I had to like process it, but I'm okay with how things have panned out and excited for our bowl game. And I saw this tweet and it was not about us, but I'm so curious y'all's thoughts because it was about Bama. And it was like this list of things like only team this, only team that. And it was like only 3-loss team in the playoff. And it was like Alabama is the only one. And so knowing how things went and knowing that we were left out, how do y'all feel knowing how much we wanted to be in for various different reasons that we were sort of giggling about? But like now that it all panned out, do you think it's better that the committee did leave us out? And the reason why I'm saying that is because imagine a world where we were in and what the conversation would be. Because we started the conversation off today talking about, well, our ops aren't messing with us. They ain't really talking about us. They finally moved on. They're good with their lives. But imagine had we been in the field.
It would have been times 1,000, like the hate train, I feel like. And honestly, sure, yeah, if leave us out, like you have your reasonings. We weren't even in the conversation. And like you said, like it would have been 1,000 times worse, right? Like everyone would have had us in their mouth in a negative way and why we shouldn't have been there. So, I mean, I can see it from the better side of it in a PR perspective.
But I'm also kind of shocked. Like I was talking to someone yesterday and they were like, oh, it was someone from Notre Dame and they were talking about different things. And I was like, at least they're talking about y'all getting snubbed. Like no one's even talking about Texas. And in all honesty, like I fully believe that we should have been ranked even higher than Notre Dame and BYU if you base it on the criteria that they say of like strength of schedule and all these other things. But like, I do think that the main trolling that happened beforehand was more of like, they wanted this scenario. Like, do not put Texas in. If Texas is in, yeah, it would have only like exacerbated it and gone up even further. But I also think there was so much trolling because people understood reasonings of why we should be in, regardless of how many times they wanted to tell us we shouldn't. But, I think it kind of shocked everyone that wins and losses, like that makes me feel like back to BCS era and how important those are and how they're number one. And I think that kind of changes the landscape of what people think in the future, though it'll be a different committee and different things. So like, I don't know, it'll be very interesting for what happens in the future, but I'm also very curious to watch these bowl games and just sit back as a bystander and see what happens because some of them will be interesting.
Yeah, I wanted you to say that because we were talking about it on the chat regarding the reason why people were feeling the way they're feeling is because they saw that we were making very valid points. And they were, rivalries aside and hating Texas aside, you actually saw that there were real points being made. I have to say, though, I wasn't shocked. And I think, okay, let me take a step back. I think I was shocked that we were not in the playoff, not that we were not selected or not talked about. And what I mean by that is going into the year, I never thought that there would be a world where out of 12 teams, we're not going bowling. I mean, 2 years ago, we went bowling in the playoffs specifically with 4 teams. And so that was sort of a conversation online too. Like, if you can't make top 12, like, sorry about you. And so for me, the biggest thing was, I learned a lot. Like, you're not going in at 9-3, period. You're not. So, like, know that. And Sark said it, win games. He was like, we have to win the games. And so I just think all the talk about like us being inconsistent and all that stuff, those are really weak arguments. At the end of the day, the committee made it really clear.
Yeah.
Don't go 9-3.
It was a record. Yeah. But like, also, how is that going to change scheduling from here on out? Like,
big time.
And I, think about Notre Dame, who's not in a conference and they have full control over their whole entire scheduling. What is that going to look like? Right. Like, I don't know.
I mean, I think it's horrible. I think I don't like the conversation of changing the scheduling. I think that's not the University of Texas at Austin. Like, we are the ones who we step up to challenges. Like, we want the most difficult route. Like, that's what our culture is as student body and as like an athletic program. So, and I mean, a lot of Longhorns were saying they want us to like take that off the schedule. And I'm like, why? Like, go win. I believe in our team.
With the SEC having the set schedule now too, it just makes you like there's going to be cupcake games, which also then leads me to, right, this is an entire business and people want to see good games. Like, I know the three of us talk about that all the time. And what you just said, Devin, like, we don't want to dilute the product of what college football is and the athletic and like competitive nature of what it brings. And I feel like what the committee decided is leaning into that. And I really hope that there's a shift on the opposite, because we've loved traveling the past couple of years to those first games against Michigan, against Ohio State. Like, we want to see those games. And if all it is about winning now, then I fear they're going to come off.
Yeah, like, I think it's back to our conversation, Devitt, of like, I mean, even when we were talking about the high school teams, like, being undefeated is hard. Like, that's not easy. And especially when you're going into these gauntlets of, programs and teams and environments and all that stuff. And I just, like, yes, I want to be that. I want to be undefeated. I want to go 12-0 and go against all these teams. And I believe that we can do that. But year on year, I just don't know. I don't know. It's a lot to ask.
I mean, but we're Texas. Like, I think people need to remember that. And so the timeline being filled with like ducking the smoke is never going to be it for me. And Angie, you mentioned something important. Is the committee's only going to focus on wins? Like, yes, like that's what being in any sport is about. You have to win your games. Like, if you're going to say, okay, cool, well, I'm going to make the easiest possible schedule just so I can win my games. Well, I mean, I think that's why people are discussing Notre Dame. Like, I don't care about Notre Dame, by the way. People have a lot of strong opinions about them and this conference thing. Join a conference, don't join a conference, blah, 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 blah. I mean, I just don't. I don't care. Like, they have nothing to do with me. So my team is Texas, and we need to be winning the SEC, and we need to be leaving no doubt. And when you play those really tough games, you get an opportunity to do that. It's a roll of a dice. So
I think it's funny that what you just mentioned has been the trend that we keep talking about is all of these other fans that don't even, these schools are not their teams. They care so much about the Notre Dames, about the Texas. Like, why are y'all so pressed about us? It's not even your team. Your team got in. Your team got in.
Well, to be honest, I don't get it. Like, I open up Twitter and people are going in, and I just, like, they're going in on Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame for like not doing their bowl game. Did we not just see Lane Kiffin leave his whole entire number 6 playoff bound team with his whole offensive staff? Like, the sport is clearly crazy and getting crazier by the minute. And I don't like the selective, like, oh, you just need to go play those games and do us proud. It's like, well, like, why? Did you even think about why you feel that way? Because I don't even think people know why they're saying they're so like you need to play your bowl game. Because a couple of years ago, the whole conversation was, these bowl games, there's too many of them. So, like, come on, people.
I think just so much has changed this year. Like, there's been so many things that have happened that no one saw coming. So everyone is just like on high alert of a lot of feelings and being like, I got to be the first one to tap into this and say what's going on.
I think that's it, Michelle. And honestly, I knew that in my head, like scrolling. I'm like, okay, so like you're saying this to tap into the convo and have like certain engagement. And that just like, I mean, that's just not me. So it drives me wild, but you're exactly right. They're like, I need to jump on this. I need to have an opinion. We don't always need to have opinions, folks. Let me just put that out there.
I was exchanging texts with my friend Ben from LSU, and he was like, I feel like what we need to do is get rid of the NCAA and just make Nick Saban the commissioner. And I was like, you know, I don't hate it. I don't hate the idea.
So, of course, people have been talking about that. But the problem is, like, that there's no actual role for that person. Like, if Nick Saban took that role, right? Like, there's the SEC, there's the Big Ten. Like, they have their own CEOs. And so there's no structure right now in NCAA. Like, it's not like the NFL.
Yeah.
Where it's like this very key structure. And so it would need to take a lot of changes. I don't even think we necessarily need all of that. We do need a solution to the postseason that actually makes sense and rewards these teams. These seasons are so long. They go through so much. The coaches work so hard. And I do think that part's disappointing because I do believe Texas should be in the postseason. We'll avoid the word deserve. We talked about that too, which I thought people were using that word in such a funny way. I'm sensitive about word choice. And that one was funny for Texas and what they do and don't deserve. In my opinion.
Yeah. And I don't even think it's not even deserved to us. It's just like what we, again, it's the criteria that they set forth. We thought we were hitting it and they changed it. And that's hard, like, I guess for me, like, I'm a rule follower. Like, you give me a line, I may like tote it, but I'm not going to cross it, kind of a thing. And like, I feel like that's how Texas feels is you gave us these different criterias and we did them. And now you're not acting like that. Like the committee putting, and I'm not even like, I don't even want to talk about I brought up Notre Dame because it's been a big conversation, but also because I went down a rabbit hole of thoughts of like, well, at this point, maybe Notre Dame has it on lock. Like maybe we shouldn't be in a conference because it felt like at a certain point they were going to limit how many SEC teams and try to put in people of other conferences. But then they didn't put in Notre Dame. So then that got a big deal. But I agree that they ended up doing a head-to-head, which is what their criteria says. But why was it not that way the week before? So I'm with you, Notre Dame fans. I think that's crappy. But I do not agree with the word choice of deserve. It's just more of like, where like just tell us a set of rules so we can go by them. And if it's win, it's win. Like I'm curious how it'll go moving forward. And I saw, like, of course, Saban was on the show and saying his thoughts. And I think people are mostly very mad of a few certain teams that are going to be in our 12 team, which goes back to like, do we do different levels? Is that fixed on 16? Is 16 teams just mean there's another bubble? I don't know.
I mean, if there's something people shouldn't be saying online, though, how rude to these football programs that did get in, who people don't believe should be in. Like, people are saying the nasty. I'm like, once again, my team isn't in it. James Madison, good luck to you. I don't have strong opinions. I'm going to go watch the game, and we're going to see what happens. But I don't understand. I understand the conversation of let's come up with solutions. I don't understand just being nasty to, again, student athletes who earned that spot and they didn't make this system.
No. Yeah. So no, at this point, that is something that they had in the rules. Conference champions get in. So like we should have all been aware that this was going to happen. I kind of feel bad for them because they're playing the same game that they've played before, but then at the same time, like, let's see how they progress this season,
Yeah, one thing, and it'll be interesting because they said January they're going to be reevaluating all of this stuff. And also, complete side note, we'll know our SEC schedule.
I was
in
just
3
when you
days.
said that, it reminded me of that too.
Yeah, I want to hear y'all's thoughts on that if there's any. But I do think the one thing the committee made the decisions that they made, but I do think that in January, whenever they have whatever deliberations, I think there needs to be transparency. And that was one word that I did see across any fan base's tweets regarding this. Yeah. Everybody just wants to know. Michelle, like you said, you're a rule follower. I'm less of that, but I do want to know from the committee, what is it like? You put in a test, 25% of my grade is for strength of schedule. Like what is the formula? Because it can't just be thoughts and feels, and very clearly this year it was.
Yeah, human bias for sure is key indicator for this year. And it's hard. Like, how do you do that? How do you do it? It's just not possible. You have to have those guidelines. Have to.
Yeah, because it just started very much feel like we talked about this. Like, just we're not even talking about Texas, which is giving. They're just like, don't talk about Bruno and it'll go away.
Yeah,
we'll see. But yeah, December 11th, right? The schedule comes out for next year.
Yes,
this week.
A couple days.
I know.
I'm mostly wanting to know when Rocky Top is, because that's going to be a longer travel trip, and looking forward to it. If I had my way, definitely Gatlinburg, but hopefully Gatlinburg and Dollywood, because I've never been to Dollywood, and it's like on my list. So that's what I'm hoping to check off.
That would be fun. I would also love BR to not be in the heat.
Oh, it's the same as someone who went to the most brutal game 2 years ago.
Maybe they'll place us like how they did the Georgia game. Like, that would be beautiful if we got like a good November 15th. Hopefully.
Night game.
Yeah.
Night game.
It has to be a night game. Although I feel like they low-key don't want to give us that, because Texas and Louisiana coming together in that way. But it has to be a night game.
Yes. It has to be. And everybody's already talking too with Lane going to LSU. All the LSU people are like, our pregame needs to look like a light show like this that you did at Ole Miss. So I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready. I mean, I'm a planner, so I'm ready to see what the season will hold, because I know we have a few games that we want to travel to next year. We did, only a couple this year. So even though it felt like a lot, next year we'll have more on our list.
I'm pumped. Let's go see more of the SEC.
Yeah.